I interviewed 3 leg lengthening patients about their experience when flying back home after surgery. What's up guys, Victor from Cyborg for Life, and today we're going to talk about traveling back home on an airplane while lengthening. Each patient that I talked to was lengthening under different circumstances. Patient 1 had full weight-bearing lengthening nails in his femurs. Patient 2 had non-weight-bearing lengthening nails in his femurs. And patient 3 was a unilateral tibial lengthening patient, meaning that he was doing one leg at a time, which can be perfectly applied to a discrepancy in deformity correction patient as well. So I asked each of them a series of questions, including making handicap arrangements, explaining your devices to security during the body scans, early boarding, getting help with your luggage, transportation, facing social scrutiny, taking blood thinners while traveling, and finally using the bathroom on a tight airplane. So when it came to making airline handicap arrangements, both patients 1 and 2 said you should choose wheelchair services when booking your flight or call ahead and let them know that you're going to need that. Okay, the unilateral lengthening patient didn't make any special arrangements, but he found that just using a backpack with his crutches was easy enough. Were there any issues explaining your devices to security during the body scan? All 3 patients said no. Patient 1 said that the security just won't care. It's also medical, so you can just say it's private. Patient 2 mentioned that since you're in a wheelchair and you can't walk, they'll only physically search you, so there's not going to be any scans anyway. And the unilateral lengthening patient said that there were no issues besides the typical TSA groping. But if you need an excuse, just say that you got hurt riding horses, you suck at parkour, or your mafia debt got a little out of hand. Now, one of the perks you get when traveling during lengthening is that you can board the plane early. That's right, the femur patients mentioned that you're going to be expedited through customs, wheelchaired onto the plane, transferred to a smaller aisle-style wheelchair where the agent will push you to your seat, help you with your carry-ons, all of this free of charge. But you could be nice and tip them. What about luggage? What about carrying like these big, 50-pound, suitcases and carry-ons and all that stuff? Well, patient 1 mentioned not to bring any checked luggage, just the carry-on or a backpack to avoid misplacement and inconvenience. Patient 2 said that the airport staff grabbed all his luggage, his carry-ons, and even stowed away his wheelchair, which was really convenient for him. And the unilateral lengthening patient had his girlfriend help out when he was traveling there in the first place. But when he was traveling back on his own, he mentioned that the airport staff and the Uber staff were more than enough to help, of course, with his handy-dandy backpack. So transportation was different for each patient. The full weight-bearing lengthening nail patient said that he used taxis, but said if you do that, just make sure you ask for a fixed rate to avoid them running up the fare by taking detours throughout the city. But if you have a cell phone, you can just use Uber or Lyft, which is pretty good at predicting and estimating the cost of the trip. The non-weight-bearing lengthening nail patient said that he had his clinic concierge service pick him up, so he was all good. And the unilateral lengthening patient was cleared by his surgeon to drive his car to his appointments a week after surgery. Now, should you worry about getting weird looks from others when traveling? Well, all the patients said no. In fact, they said everyone was so helpful, staying out of your way, opening doors. In fact, you're going to even see others in wheelchairs and on crutches. It's going to be positive vibes all the way around, so no worries about that. Do you have to take blood thinners when flying during lengthening? All the patients said yes. It's important to take the day before, the day of, and the day after, so be sure to ask your surgeon for proper dosing for you. The unilateral lengthening patient mentioned he still had swelling in his leg, but it went away after about a day or 2. Plus, he used this compression sleeve to help with all that swelling and inflammation as well. Finally, using the bathroom. This has got to be the hardest part, right? I mean, here you are on a plane in an essentially crippled state, trying to get into a super small bathroom, not to mention getting into the bathroom in the first place through the tight aisles. I mean, it's incredibly difficult. So although the full weight-bearing nail patient was able to go pee on his own because he could stand, he said going number 2 would have been painful putting that much pressure on the legs in such a tight, confined, moving space. So yeah, each of the patients mentioned that they feared using the bathroom on the airplane, so they prepared properly ahead of time by using the bathroom in the airport before departure and limiting their water intake and other foods that would cause bloating so they wouldn't have this, gastrointestinal distress and have to rush to the bathroom in their crippled state. And a few other words of advice from these patients is to make sure that you stand or move your legs a little bit to get some blood flow. And don't forget a backpack or a small carry-on for your important items. I think the non-weight-bearing nail patient said it best. Besides using the bathroom, everything in the airport and on the plane is handicap friendly. So don't stress yourself out too much. Just try to get to your destination in one piece and happy lengthening. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a favor and hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. And until next time, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life, signing out. Peace.